Hello, this is Berlinologist. I've decided to do another YouTube presentation regarding the end of those that were in the bunker. So Adolf Hitler, he died on April the 30th at approximately 3:30 p.m. in the afternoon. And Stalin was notified 13 hours later after his death. Now the Russians discovered the Berlin bunker, the Hitler bunker, on the May 2nd, and most of those that were in the bunker got captured by the Soviet Union. They were Heinzlinger, that was Hitler's valet. Otto Günsche was Hitler's adjutant. Hans Bauer was his chief pilot. And then you've got Hofbeck, who was his head of security. Henschel, I'm not sure who Henschel was. And Rohusmish, who was his bodyguard and his telephone operator. And when they were sent to Moscow, and for about a year and a half, they were constantly being interrogated at the Lubyanka for about, I think it's a year and a half. And the same questions were said over and over and over again. What happened was, after the war, they said that Hitler was burnt, he was cremated, and also Goebbels and his wife were also burnt, but they didn't have enough petrol and didn't have enough gasoline to actually cremate their bodies. So I've got a photo, let me see if I can find it here. So you can see that photograph is of Joseph Goebbels, and if you see here, you see where it hasn't burnt. So you can actually see his leg where it hasn't burnt. This is quite significant because they didn't have enough petrol to actually burn him. And which was a tragedy in and of itself, especially the death of his 6 children. Otto Günsche and Hans Linger. So you can see these two photographs. This one and this one. See those photographs there? Now, after they came back from Russia, this is what they look like. See those photos at the bottom? This one and this one? That's what they look like after they got back up. You can see how traumatised and brutalised they were being in Russian captivity. They stayed in a camp called, I've got it written down here, Batyarka. It's the Batyarka camp. They were flown back to Berlin, not all together, but they were separated, and their interrogators would ask them the same questions as they always thought, because they wanted to believe, or at least Stalin did, wanted to believe that Hitler was spirited away to either Spain by Franco, and under, he'd be protected by Franco, or Argentina. I can only think that Stalin, picture of Stalin, there he is, Stalin, wanted to, was like playing games with the Allies in order to carry favour, or for them to perhaps to invade Spain, you know, because Spain was a fascist country until Franco actually died. Stalin was very good at these kind of mind games and for propagating propaganda to his advantage. The Allies decided to do their own investigation into the death of Adolf Hitler, and actually what came about in the bunker, in those last days in the bunker, and that's why this book got written. The Hugh Trevor Roper book got written as a result of Stalin's obsession, if you like, into the belief that Adolf Hitler actually escaped to either Spain or Argentina, which is preposterous. It just cannot have happened, simply because Adolf Hitler was very gravely ill. Those last days he was gravely ill. Theo Morell, who Hitler sent away on April 21st, so he wasn't getting his medication. And this is something that is a common with those that have money and they have their own physicians, because that means that they can go to any of their doctors and be prescribed the medication that they believe that they should have a right to. However, not every doctor knows what other doctors have prescribed. So in Theo Morell's case, there's another doctor called Stumpfegger, and Stumpfegger doesn't know what were all the medications that Hitler was taking those up to the 21st of April. So Stumpfegger was probably given his own medications. But the thing is, with Stumpfegger and other physicians, they weren't able to give the type of medication that Hitler believed he had every right to have, which, for example, was cocaine, because he was taking cocaine. They were like eye droplets. So that's why this at the end of the war, there was this confusion as to, did Hitler actually escape to Argentina or to Spain? And that's why Otto Günscher, Heinzlinger, Hans Bauer were interrogated day after day after day after day in the Lubyanka, and asked the same questions, because they believed, or at least Stalin believed, that there was a double, and it was the double that was cremated and not Adolf Hitler. And I think this was more to appease Stalin than anything else, you know, because everybody was afraid of Stalin, because they didn't want to end up in the gulags, or they didn't want to be taken out in the courtyard shot. So they would just go through this rigmarole of this constant interrogation of those that were in the Hitler bunker. But I have to say that they managed to survive, you know, and they were set to do like 25 years in the gulags. However, Stalin died in 1953, so a lot of those that were in the inner circle in the bunker, that were captured by the Russians after the war, were set free in, say, 1955 or 1956 and sent to East Germany, and eventually they went on to go to West Germany. So what's often spoken about in relation to the Hitler bunker is what actually happened to those the inner circle. There were some that got to the west because Berlin was encircled, but most of them were captured by the Russians and sent to the Lubyanka for interrogation, and they were abused, they were severely beaten, but this lasted for about a year and a half. So that pretty much concludes my presentation. I'm going to do more of these. I don't know when I'll do the next one, but I'm going to talk more about the Hitler bunker and going more into detail as to what happened during the Hitler bunker and afterwards. That concludes my presentation. Auf Wiedersehen.